Usually I don't need a microphone, but here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you to the 2025 Prescott High School Lady Badgers end of season banquet for the girls soccer teams. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Michelle Stacy Schroeder, and I was voted in as the booster president for this season. And on behalf of the girls soccer boosters, I want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you for your support, your time working in the snack bar, helping with senior night, preparing and serving team dinners, and a special shout out to Tara Long for organizing an amazing and fun youth soccer clinic, and all of the love that you have all shown these girls during the season. We also want to acknowledge our sponsors, Lamb Chevrolet, Prescott Valley Ace Hardware, High Desert House Call Pet Hospital, Pinnacle Bank, the Monet family, KAD Designs, Gilray Pediatric Therapy, Elite Performance Associates, and Joe Tools. Big round of applause for our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we are not able to do the things that we are able to give to our girls, such as sweatshirts, team jackets, parkas, team dinners on the road, all that good stuff. So we appreciate our sponsors. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our amazing social media manager, who does not take credit for herself, but she made sure that every social media post was updated, every highlight of our girls was on social media platforms, and she also was the creator of the programs that you have at your tables, Mrs. Amy Maneely. That's it for those people. Now we want to focus on our girls. What a season it has been. To say that all of us here are so proud of everything you've accomplished would be an understatement. You played with determination, intensity, skill, heart, and no matter what anybody said, you played with integrity. Leaving us on the edge of our seats with each pass, breakaway, shot, and goal. Our JV team went 7-3. Our varsity team went overall 13-1-3. It should be acknowledged that both our JV and varsity team went undefeated in the Grand Canyon region. Congratulations, ladies. This season also brought some accolades for one of our coaches. Coach Paul Campazano received his 100th career win. And he also garnered Grand Canyon Region Coach of the Year. So with that, Coach, we have a little montage for you.
Coach and ball shaker.
I can do it all.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war, you could talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock, you can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you go find yourself.
Someone's got to be willing to hit that game winner. It's just soccer. It's just a shot. You can do it, every single one of you.
Cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name.
So, the girls know what they're capable of now, and now it's going to make it tough for the rest of the 4A company. So,
You know what, there.
appreciate you always being here. Hey, Mark! Let's go, one more! Easy open, don't make a mistake, I totally trust you. They are out of gas. Hey, you just beat me 5A finalists last year. You guys should be so proud. And it came down to grit, and it came down to someone taking their moment. I'm so proud of you. We're gonna meet tomorrow. The pressure never ends. But the rankings came out, and you're the #1 team in 4A by far. And then number 4, 6A, 5A, 4A.
And the world's gonna know your name. Every other walk to the whole thing. You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the king card hanging on your chest. You can be the girl, you can be the war. You can throw the jacket banging on the wall. You can throw your hands up, you can be the Krock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't want enough. Dedicate yourself to your life. Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Coach. At this time, we want to show our appreciation to our coaches. And so we have some gifts for you. The boosters want to take this opportunity to thank our coaching staff for all the time that you put in training with our girls, traveling long distances, late nights, headaches when you get home because you're dealing with a bunch of teenagers. So we just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for the program, for these girls, and the boosters appreciate you. But we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the sacrifices of their wives, because these coaches spend so much time with our girls that they take away from time at home. So at this time, we would like to acknowledge the wives of our coaches, Jen Pointer, Kelly Dugan, and Katie Campazano. Ladies, we appreciate the time that you've given up this season so that your husbands could devote so much time to our girls. We really, really appreciate you. We also want to thank our special photographers, Mike Krock and Aaron Duncan. If you two could come up, please. You each captured the blood, the sweat, the tears, the triumphs of these girls and gave us so many memories that we will cherish for a lifetime. So we appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Mike, that's for you.
Thank you.
Got it?
Maybe. Got it.
Thank you. All right, now that we got all the thank yous out of the way. This has been a tremendous season. And for 11 of you, it's your last season. But here are some highlights for our varsity girls team. Grand Canyon Region Champions. You held the #1 seed in 4A all season long. You were 4A conference finalist, first runner-up, and when they introduced the open division, you were the #6 seed. It was truly a remarkable season, and we enjoyed every minute of it. To our 11 seniors, it was memorable, capping off 4 years of playing high school soccer for one of the strongest programs in the state. My wish for all of you is that you look back on these last 4 years and remember the good times, the friendships and the bonds that you formed, the lessons you learned along the way that will help you pave the way for success in your endeavors after high school, but most importantly, beating Flagstaff. For our underclassmen, my hope is that the best is yet to come, and we can't wait to watch you next season, to take the pitch once again in Badger Blue, putting the heat on the meat, the biscuits in the basket, risking it for the biscuit, and Cobra Kai. I love you, ladies. At this time, we would like to introduce the JV coach, Coach Rich Pointer, to come up and do his presentation for the JV team.
So I gotta remember, how many letters in the word right? 5. How many words are there? 5. Okay.
Dinosaur 3! 1, 2, 3,
That was pretty neat. I did not expect that, so thank you for that. You know, this year, like Michelle said, we finished 7-3, which in my third year was technically our worst season for record, but in a weird way, it's actually our best season, at least for me, that we ever had as a JV team. We played some really tough teams, and I told these girls several times throughout the year that, even though it's only my third year, this is by far and away the best JV team I had. Not just on skill, all around. They worked so hard, and I was so. You know, when I go in there, I try to emulate Paul and have a really good practice plan to start at the beginning of the season and work my way through. And it was really nice to be able to progress and move on to new things almost on a daily basis. I mean, they got to the point I wanted to get, and they keep moving on. And I'm especially proud of how many times Paul came over and wanted to borrow JV players. He trusted them to come over to his training and help out if they were either varsity short players, or you wanted to see if they had the capability to move up. So it was really a lot of fun this year. I'm really proud of you girls. I'm looking forward to, as I always say during the year, I'm always trying to get you off my team. And that's going to happen next year because a lot of these girls are gone. So I'm looking forward to watching you play next year on Paul's team. It's just been a really great joy this year. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm going to break a little bit of protocol here. I know I don't want to steal Paul's thunder, but I want to talk a little bit about this varsity team. Some of those pictures were getting posted on Instagram. I had forgotten how many of you I used to see play AYSO soccer back when my boys were playing. And so some of the pictures were flashing up, and I was really getting like, wow. I knew some of these girls. I watched them. I didn't know who they were, but I watched them and recognized them on a weekly basis. And I just, as much as I've watched Paul's teams and coached for them, I think it's 6 years now I've been really paying attention to these teams. This is far and away the best team. And I don't mean just skill. I mean, you are a team. And it's kind of bums me out that you're never going to play together again in this group. So thank you. I really appreciated watching you play this year. And I look forward to watching some of you play again in the future. I wish more of you were playing collegiately. But thank you again. I appreciate it. And congratulations on a very, very good season.
At this time, we'd like to invite Coach Paul Campuzano up. As he's making his way up, we have a very special tribute video to our 11 seniors.
In that 12-passenger van in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name to start. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I've become. Can I wait to get older? Can I wait to be some? Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe. Someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't forget. But someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that glass first. Wish I made it to homecoming. Got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my shell. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought. I felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open, and the stars above. The moment flows is thinking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that full time. We just begun. All the guys dreaming, figuring out who I was. Let's get over there.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe. All the love you won't forget.
was fine until all that, so I'll try to get through this. I mean, Rich and Chad have been wonderful this year, helping me out. They're finally at the point where they can come up to me and say, hey, what's the lineup today? And then look at it and go, hey, dummy, we need to think about this. That's real refreshing because sometimes as a coach we get stuck in our ways and think, the last 2 games mean that's how we need to move forward. So having them, I can't thank you guys enough, especially for all those great bus rides. At least I had someone to talk to on those. So. Missy and Bobby, they never show up. They think we do too big of a banquet, so they're a little offended by what we do. But I think it's well deserved, especially with the generous sponsors and everything that we have. I always like to thank the administration and the teachers. They always respond if a player says, hey, they haven't put my grades in, and I can just email them and they get on that. So the boosters have been incredible. I don't know what more we could ask from them, and we do ask more and more. But really appreciate everyone who's not named in the program and everyone who gave even a little bit of time this year for these girls, because it does mean the world to them. Oh, parents. I've said this before, maybe not here, but I don't think you realize how good we have it with the kids you give us. They're not perfect, they're a pain in the ass a lot of the time, but it's a good thing, and it's never in a bad way. They're figuring out who they are, and so I just can't thank you enough for the kids you give us. Some give us more than 1 kid, some give us 3 kids, and so that's very nice that we can see that in a family come through over and over. But again, none of this is possible without you guys, and giving us well-disciplined, respectful, and intelligent kids, so thank you for that. And then I just wanted to thank the players. We've tried to make it a program over the last 3 years. This last year was great. I got to train exclusively with the JV team and Rich took the varsity team and called up a bunch of players to see if they were to fill out numbers early in the season, and then brought some along to state, and they were very respectful, knowing they weren't going to play, but they got to see what it was like to travel with these maniacs and spend the night in a hotel, and what it could be like, what it will be like for them in the future. So, yeah, I'm not everyone's cup of tea as a coach. Demand a lot, expect a lot, but I think so I just wanted to thank the players because, that award that I won is a team award and a player award. So thank you guys. Hey, I do have a heart after all. So I think we'll start with handing out we have so much to give out today. Final thing is, we did this 5 years ago. And there was no joy because there was a group of seniors that were coming back and they felt like they had unfinished business. And I don't think we enjoyed and really took in what they had accomplished. So I want you guys to know just how special this is. Yeah, we didn't win the last game. They got 1 shot in the box and we didn't, or the one we had in the box didn't go in. So it's unfortunately in sports, it's that specific sometimes, but you guys, you should really be proud of what you accomplished here because, like I said, 5 years ago, they left the trophy on the field and I had to go back and get it. So they maybe they didn't see what they had accomplished, but I think you guys really should be proud of what you accomplished because this isn't easy. We're in Prescott. We're not in the Valley where you can change schools every year if you don't like your coach and make super teams. So what you've done, and one of the most disrespectful questions I get asked when we make these big tournaments is, do you think people are gonna finally notice Prescott. And this is the first year I haven't done the coach's answer. I just was like, I don't care, they can not print it. And I said, no, because you guys don't realize that we do this almost every year. Maybe not a final, but we've been in semifinals a couple times, quarterfinals. Every year Prescott is beating Scottsdale schools. And so if you're not gonna take notice this year, even if we have won, again, we're gonna have to prove it every year because we are Prescott, we're not Notre Dame Prep or one of the other schools. So that alone, like I said, that Coach of the Year award is your award. Because if we don't win those games, they're not nominating me for anything. So I hope you know that that's really how I see it. And I did, well, I won't talk about that, but so no, I really appreciate how you got me that award. So thank you guys. And like I said, it now feels like a program. It feels seamless between JV and varsity. So now I'm gonna move on because I was told not to talk. But after seeing those videos, it was hard to keep my focus. So we'll call up each player. So Bonnie Hansen, why don't you come up? So Bonnie spent the year a lot like I am right now, sick, recovering, sick, recovering. There's a couple players like this year. But we saw something in Bonnie. Actually, Rich went and watched her play prior to the season to see just what she could bring to the team. And there's something special inside her. I hope next year you stay healthy and we can get more minutes, more time, and get you on the field a little more, but it's hard when you're always sick. But there's something in there and we really noticed it, so we really appreciate everything. So congratulations. There's a few players, and like one thing I was a little sad about is there's very few JV players, but then I didn't realize there's other sports going on. So Eva and Belle. Eva got called up for various games and got to play, so she'll receive her award here. And then another player that we had join our team, you know, we never want any players to be injured, but it invariably happens. And so when a player got hurt, we brought Annabelle over. So Annabelle, why don't you come up here? And so one of the first games was against, I think, one of the 5A schools. And I went over to her and I said, hey, this is gonna be fun today. What if I start you? And she's like, oh no, please don't do that. And so we had a very open talk about, you know, we don't want to set her up to fail. But every time she was playing, Rich obviously was pushing me to get her into spots. It's difficult with the defenders we have, how experienced they are. But really looking forward to the future. You do a lot of things that people your age won't do when they come train with us. So you should be proud of what you added to the team today, this year. So thank you. So Addie Larson, you can come up here. So unfortunately, Addie hurt her knee in a sport prior to soccer, so she missed the season. You know, she was one of those players that you just sign on the lineup and you usually start every game because of what she brings to the team. And recently we talked and she said she's hoping to play next year, so that'll be fun for her to actually not go out with an injury. But she was our team manager this year and helped out with a lot of things. You got a manager, but how cool is that? And we do, as I've always said, if you made the varsity team like Violet did her sophomore year when she hurt her, you have a spot on the team for your life. So if you take a year off and you want to come back, your spot's always saved. And so hopefully we'll see you next year because you know what you mean to this team and everyone there. Thank you. Sophia Davidson. Sophia is one of the kindest players to me. So dedicated, always working hard, always wanting to improve and figure out what I want. Sometimes I just have to tell her, just go play, because you know what to do on the field. I'm so happy that she played this year. She's a big part of what we do, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it for some of the players, but really winning is about the entire program, JV and varsity, and everyone involved. So I think you had a great year. You had 3 goals, but you probably knew that. So a good season, so thank you very much. All right. Claire Long, where are you? The world famous Long sisters. Claire is one of those girls that I don't interact much with. She doesn't really need it. She goes out there and she just grinds and works hard, and sometimes look like closer. It's your time to shine. And really everything I'm saying is positive, because if I had all the same type of players, I don't think we could win. You add that thing that I had when I played. It was the Notre Dame game, and they were getting nasty, and no one was giving it back. And I just remember looking over, and I see your arm go out, and you hit that girl in the back, and I'm like, oh, I can't be more proud right now. I don't care what the referee said. So, but those teams deserve that, the way they play and the way they don't shake a coach's hand before a game, and how they treat the girls and what they say to the girls during the game. So, I think what you do is invaluable for a team. I think what and I don't know if it's a choice or, because for me it always was, it was like, okay, now's the time. I don't know if you see that or just how you play and what you do, but technically you're gifted as well, so you're not just a thug. But you do it at the right time, and I like I said, it makes me smile. I don't know if I told you that, but I think that was one of my happiest moments of the year, and I can still see it in my head. So thank you for everything you do. And by the way, Claire's little sister joined us a little bit and would train back and forth, and sometimes it gets tricky but they're wonderful together too, so I thank Claire for that, not making it a big deal. Mallory Walsh. I think Mallory only gave up 1 goal in the Grand Canyon, maybe 6 all year. And it's interesting because we had a big breakthrough at club season where I just went over and I'm like, all right, enough's enough, let's talk. And so we talked, and she was honest and I was honest, and we wanted the same things, but just didn't know it. So I think we only gave up 3 goals last year with you, and that was the fewest ever by one of my teams, which is pretty impressive with that 2020 team who shut out nearly every team they played. So an amazing person, you're smart, you're dedicated to the sport. You've improved so many things, and it's fun to watch it, from when a ball here was impossible to the way you kick. Just your dedication to the craft of goalkeeper is so different from what these kids have to do. It's amazing, and I just wish you weren't a junior, but we do have 1 more to run, so thank you for everything. Where's Rihanna? Come up, Rihanna. So Rihanna is one of those players that I could put anywhere. When we first met, she was a forward, and I said, I think you're going to get killed. Why don't we put you back in the midfield where you can do the things she does so well? And there's not much she doesn't do well. Probably the most gifted shooter on our team, much less a few teams I've had. Can see passes that most people don't see. Always runs the weak side when you just have to say one thing to Rihanna and she does it. She's an amazing, amazing athlete, and her soccer IQ is off the charts. So the fact that we have her for 1 more year is going to be real interesting, where we can place her to succeed. But like I said, she can do anything. She's one of those players that is just special. So thank you for this year. Rihanna scored 9 goals and 3 assists. And Rihanna scored the tying goal at South Point, which is another thing I can still see. So, and then Maneely. So I think Maggie and I met her family 5 years ago, maybe 4. I can't even remember how long it's been. And we're struggling to figure out where to play her. And I'll save this one story until next year when you're a senior. But it was something with your dad. But just another player that plays the most second. I think goalkeeper's probably, because it's so specialized, so difficult. But the 6 is the impossible position. You didn't do it this year because we kind of understand how you should play and what I want from you. But I think last year it was a lot of, I feel like I'm not doing anything. This position is awful, and I'm like, I know, and that's why many people can't do it. So I think you missed one game this year, and I sat there talking to the coaches, and I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing when you miss that one piece, just what it means to a team. So special player. I wish you would have had more chances to score, but you're so disciplined and play your position so well. I think that's what makes the defense. We're very difficult to score on. It's surprising when we do. So thank you for everything. All right, and now we have a bunch of seniors. Oof. So Wiley, why don't you come up here? Wiley came to Prescott last year, and she trained with us. And when we hoped to get her on the field, we were told we couldn't put her on the field, and then obviously did her track season was amazing, and then came back to soccer this year. And it's just one of those athletes that you root for because the effort's there, the speed's there, the grit's there, and I saw her do a couple of nasty things like Claire this year, and I think it was more frustration about the situation than Claire just being mean. Where's Claire? Don't stop. But just love how you never get down on yourself. You do a little, but you're always willing to then bounce back out of it with just a simple thing. For me, coaches are your teammates. So, and a great spirit to have on the bus and with the team. So, thank you. So McKinley, why don't you come up? McKinley's part of that midfield of ours that has just experience and murderers everywhere. She's a big part of playing the 6 with Maggie and even moving the 8 to the 10. But her desire to be on the field, her desire to be part of the team, and she works hard. And sometimes I have to hide my eyes because she gets in these tackles and then ends up on her head, and I'm just like, oh boy. If that was my daughter, I'd go out there and pull her off the field and ask if she's okay. So, but never a person you have to question about desire, never a question who won't give for her teammates, and has been a big part of the last 4 years. So, thank you. Katie, why don't you come up? So Katie's part of that defensive group we have. That is just so much ability, so much variety in the way she plays versus the way Lexi plays, and Claire as well. So Katie is so resilient. The fact that she had a great sophomore year, a not so great junior year, and came back and said, I want this, and took it, and was an integral part of our defense first 10 games, and then got hurt. Took a while to get healed again, but again, when you start that many games and we watch film, and if I'm playing in her position or if I'm a JV player watching, you hear what the coaches say about the way she plays. That is what you should be listening to on how to model yourself as a player. So wonderful. I guess she's the president too of the school. So a lot of student council, all these different activities. Just another example of these players, not just being players, being amazing students. But like I said, we had a conversation at Rising Tryouts and really opened my eyes to just who she was as a person, how bad she loved soccer and what she wanted as a player. So I'm so happy she had a great season. So. Delaney, come on up. Yeah. So this is, I was taking down the banners the other day and a friend was in town from California. We used to play together and he was just holding the ladder so I didn't die. And he looks up and he goes, "That one looks like trouble." And I'm like, very astute. And I mean that in a good way. I think your honesty with me over the past few years and what you wanted with the team and for you and your expectations, setting those with the coaches as well as meeting our expectations has been real good for me as a coach and helped me become a better coach. At times I think people overheard some of the things and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "She's a kid, this is how we communicate." So it's good that you're that way. Don't change, especially as you go out in life, because that's going to serve you real well. You're a strong person. You score a lot of goals. And just to see how much it meant to you in that finals was amazing for me. So thank you for everything. Zoe. So Zoe was that player. What? Did you almost fall? No. Oh, that'd have been funny. Zoe's that player who. Well, you're not going to do this again. So Zoe was that player who was good enough to play multiple positions, and then with a team of murderers like that, if you're that player, you end up not playing anywhere. So we had to know it's a compliment, and it's also we had that conversation of where do you want to play, because it's not fair for you to get 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there when you're capable of. And so unfortunately with the injury that happened prior to the year, I went around to a group of players and I'm like, "Hey, can you play the 4 or 5? And they're like, And Zoe told me no. And then the next day we were running a defensive session and I said, "Hey, get in there." And the rest is history. I think there's only one other player in my 8 years who had as many assists as her. This is a center back. She's known for smashing passes at their teammates up close in practice. And we were like, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?" We figured out how to move your passes around, and you can't do that right now. And so really, if you think about the 2 goals in the semifinals were off corner kicks and headers. If you think about just how important that was to our season, it's pretty amazing. The only other time it happened was in, I think, 20, and it was the same sort of result. When you get goals off set pieces, it changes you as a team. So, and then, we have a decent communication, but right when we won the semifinal game, she was out there and she was crying, and I was like, "Well, what's going on? Are you sad, happy?" And she said both, and then that's when I knew that's why I coach, because when you're not quite sure about players and they just have that honest moment with themselves and just what it meant to her, it meant that a lot to me as well. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
So Lexi Dugan, come up here. So Lexi's another defender, like the last few that have been up. Kind of see a theme. If you haven't experienced defense, you might win a few games. Amazing throw-in, so what? Great crosses, so what? I think this year her physicality reached a whole new level, and it happened in the South Point game where this special girl was playing on her side and was getting more and more frustrated, and every time the ball went down there, Lexi would take it from her or slide tackle and win it. And it's just amazing to see her effort, her dedication to the craft. I don't know if she always had fun, because I don't know much about Lexi. We've probably said 13 words in the 4 years, which is fine. I give them their space. But I know her dad and mom, so it's all good. But just like I said, you're going to hear a theme running through a lot of these players. They're just special players who do more with what they can do every single game, every single day, every single week. They train hard, they want it, and it shows in the way they approach training, because that's the most important thing to me. Games are games, but if we train, we'll be ready for the games. And just seeing someone give everything she has. I didn't know you were Irish because you were bleeding a lot this year as you could slide tackle. Chat, be over there with first aid kits trying to get her to stop bleeding. It was absolutely gross. Just again, one of those players that I'll miss, one of those players we'll all miss, because if you just watch the way she plays, different from the way Katie plays, going up the side and the way she plays on her side, you can become a complete defender by watching them, because they both do it so well. So thank you.
You know, sorry. No, it's so nice that I can be a coach, be a dad, and you don't care too much that I'm at the sideline, because there's not a lot of dads that could do that, and not a lot of daughters that would allow their dad to do it. So I appreciate it. It's gonna be I told myself I wouldn't cry, but I love you so much. Thank you for. Soccer's been awesome. I mean, you saw those pictures where you guys were like this big, this big, and it's been amazing. So, and thank you, all you girls. It's been so awesome.
Violet, why don't you come up here? So Violet was an amazing freshman, but on a monster team. And then I think missed her sophomore season with a knee. Came back last year, and we had because I'm always really worried, because I watched this at Embry-Riddle where we had this, probably the best forward in the state, but she had blown her knee out before she committed to one of the bigger schools in Arizona. And so my whole job, and her dad would come up to me and go, "Hey, can you watch out for her, make sure she doesn't hurt her knee again?" And I'm like, "Why? I'm not a magician. I mean, we do all the recovery and warm-ups and to try to prevent it." And then I said to Violet, "What do you need?" And she's just like, "Why are you asking me that? It's weird. Are you gonna wear a brace?" "No, maybe, I don't know." And then you like stomped your foot like you were on the field, and you said, "No, I'm just gonna play. Whatever happens, happens." I'm like, "So you don't need anything from me, from Trent, from anyone else?" And she said no. And so Violet, I don't even know how many you scored this year. Do you know? It's written here. 15 goals and 15 assists. And so in my first year, there were players that would score 40 goals, but we beat teams 15, 16. So to score that many goals against the quality of teams we played, 4A champion, 5A champion, 5A runner-up, Flagstaff, and everyone else involved. She scored against every team in the Grand Canyon region. She scored 2 against 3 of the teams, had assists in those games as well. But none of that, I don't really care about any of that. I just think watching you score that second goal at Flagstaff is who you are. There's no quit, there's grit, there's dedication, and you were willing to, I think that's how you hurt your knee to begin with in your club team. You were willing to do it again for them. And so when you have multiple players like that, willing to just live in the moment and find success or failure together, it was amazing to watch. So thank you for everything. She also just set the school record in the 400, which is probably the most miserable, most difficult running event in the world. So congrats, Violet. Kenzie, why don't you come up here? So Kinsey, as you can tell by her height, and she also just won the 300 hurdles, or set the school. School record in the 300 hurdles. So an amazing athlete. Then I'm like, okay, you got an amazing athlete. Can you make them an amazing soccer player? And it doesn't take much when she's dedicated to the craft. She works hard. She trains all year round. I apologize. That means I'm talking too much. So your goal against Campo Verde, the free kick? Yeah, that was amazing. And really, I think that set the tone of the season. It was the fourth game. We were now playing the 5A runner-up. And so, you know, I set the bar high. I think going into the season, I heard more complaints from the boys team parents saying, why did you schedule all these tough teams? Because we have like schedules. And I was like, because we're ready and they're good, and I'm tired of beating teams 5-6-0. And so I got a whole bunch of negative feedback from them, and I was just like, well, why don't you guys win? We are. But they've always been chasing us. So just watching Kinsey progress, and I just didn't want to fail her as a coach when you have someone who's this talented. It's like, can I put her in the right position? Can she be in a position where she then expresses herself and scores a goal like you did that free? We don't choose who takes, well, we sort of choose who takes free kicks, but not really. It's the person who wants to go up and grab the ball, put it down and said, this is my moment. So 4 games into the season, we beat that team. Rankings come out the next week. We're #1 for the entire year. And that was one of those big moments that I'm happy you had, because you deserved it. A lot of times kids go through 4 years of high school, don't have that moment that they've earned and deserved. So just an amazing player. I'll just get your stats too. 10 goals and 5 assists for a midfielder on a team that, you know, 2 goals in a game for the teams we're playing is wonderful. So thank you for everything. Lainey Lucas. So ladies came to me this year and said, yeah, I want to play midfield. I'm a midfielder. And I was like, okay. And I don't listen to the players when they tell me these things. Because they have to tell me something twice. Because maybe it was a bad week, maybe, I don't know what. And then she came back to me and she goes, no, really, I think this is a good thing. And then we tried it. Of course, it was a no-brainer watching you, listening to other coaches say that follow 24? Sorry, I'm bad with her. Follow 24. They're playing through her, and it's like, we don't do that, sir. But it was a compliment to your effort. You want it so bad. You almost want it so bad that it stops you from being able to do it. And you're constantly having to reset, and I love that because when I used to teach tennis, it was, if kids hit the ball hard and out, that's fine, because you can always dial them back in. It's the ones that who don't hit it out, that it's hard to say, well, hit it harder. Never had to tell you to work harder. Never had to tell you to train harder. Some of those violent interactions in practice where I'd say to the coaches, oh, we got to change this, because you guys are just competitors and you're competing at full speed, and when it hits just right, I'm not looking for anyone to get hurt. The effort's always there. You're going to play next year?
I'm going to play at Laramie County Community College in Ohio.
And so I'll be lucky to have you. Don't change who you are. That's one thing that I will compliment myself about. I never try to change anyone. Play where you want to play. Make that decision, commit to it, good or bad, because it'll always work out. So thank you for everything. Alana Gilray. We're almost there, 2 more. So Alana had to endure stupid jokes on my part that I've stopped. where my daughter would come up and I'd be like, hey, there's my daughter, she's 12, look at, my daughter's just giant. And always a good sport about it. And she's always doing that on the field, even when the girl at Cactus Shadows was kicking her the whole game. Never stopped smiling. It's funny because I haven't had to, Rich has worked on her with a second move, a third move, and she does it effortlessly. If you've watched any of the games, I said to Rich and Chad one game, I'm like, we would be a pain in the neck to guard because you've got Violet on one side and this one on the other side, and they do it so well, but they do it so differently. I think the thing that I love most about Alana's play is that I've never had to tell her to defend. Well, I've told her to defend, but never twice. She's always communicating with me, what should I do, what can I do, what do you see? And I think that's just real fun for me, because I used to play and it's, well, here's what I used to try to do. Here's what, developed your shot this year, that one shot, right? I mean, there were many shots, many goals, but one in particular where she had been working forever. 10 goals and 10 assists, by the way, this year. And so, I don't know, you become, and I hate to say this, but you become one of my favorite players to watch. I just put your name on the, circle your name on the starter sheet, and then I just get to go watch you attack, defend, look like you're about to die, tell me you're about to die, but still get back and defend, win the ball, pass the ball. Just a great player. I wish I could see you, like Rich has said. Obviously, we don't have a say in it because we're not with you or your parents, but really disappointing I won't be able to see you play next year. Just a great teammate. Oh, I gotta tell this one. So we're training on the baseball field for the first 5 or 6 weeks, and Alana walks by me and says, "This is bullshit." And I'm like, I agree, but I was waiting for someone to say it because I can't be the one to make the decisions for 20 girls and 20 girls. And really, even though it was happening over on this side of the field, it still affects them because they see it. And so from that moment on, I think we talked a little bit and I said, so is this what's happening? And then, everything works out in the end. But it's real liberating for me to have that honesty and that interaction. I'll miss you, I'll talk about you. I won't talk about Lily anymore. You and Violet have passed her. But so just that different piece, real tactician of the game, knows when to attack down the line, when to pass, when to cross, when to shoot. So really become an amazing, complete player. So thank you for everything. And the last one is Riley. I'm gonna start talking, this is gonna take some time. Just because when her freshman year came along, and a lot of making a varsity team is birth year lottery. What are you, a 7? So you came in when you weren't going to make varsity. We had all those returners, I think 9 returners, and they were all murderers. And one of us, Claire's and Addie's sister. And so it was, and I just started coaching them at Rising, or maybe at 2 years, and I was like, oh God, you feel a little pull, like you're pulling for them to make it, but then when you put on the blue, you're like, all right, who's the best players on the field? Sorry, Riley. But it was because there were 5 returning seniors. 3 got hurt, so we could do the math there. We played 4 in the back. And I said, congratulations, Riley, come join the big leagues. We actually changed formations to a 3-5-2 that year. Which puts even more pressure on someone who's never played it. A lot of training with that. Luckily, you had a great sister in Macy who took you under her wing. I know some of the other players were a little more difficult to deal with. But really had to go to the ER to miss our openly quarterfinal game. And she came back, said, nope, got medicine, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, I'm not playing you. That would be so irresponsible, though I kind of wanted to. You just want, as a coach, you have your things you like to see, and then you're like, okay, things will be okay. But just like I said, started every game that you were able to for 4 years, which is rare, and just a big contributor. One of my captains gives me feedback. I don't like to hear when we've won 10 games in a row, and she comes and goes, yeah, the captains want to meet with you. I'm like, oh boy, what did I miss? But usually it's constructive, usually it's good, and usually it's just, hey, here's what I see. And we had a great talk before the finals too about, and I'm gonna put it out there, about the lineup. And you thought, here's what I think, because I get a feel, and I'll go with that feel, and you just gave me your opinion. I don't know if I listened to it. I don't listen to these two. But it's great that you have that ability to approach, because you're playing next year. So don't say I'm a freshman again. I can't do that. Walk in there like you belong there. Walk in like you own the place, and make someone keep their job, because while you were given your job as a freshman, no one took your job for the next 4 years. So you should be proud of that. So thank you. We did have, and this is, I don't know how to explain how the Grand Canyon region voting goes. It's the worst probably day every year for me. It's just frustrating to see how other coaches see their players. And in the past I had sort of a block with Lee Williams and Mojave, but both those coaches left. And so Flagstaff had their block and sort of support each other and aren't honest about who the best players are in the region. But we did receive 5 or 6 awards, and so that to me, when there's things working against you, when you get the award, it's that much more of an honor. So Grand Canyon's second team, Maggie Maneely. Yeah, you gotta make the long walk. Another second team honoree is Rihanna Aguilar. I don't know what else I could say about her, so I'll just kill time. Thank you. Four players received first team honors. So Riley Schroeder, they didn't send awards. So what they do is there's a Grand Canyon region, and then there's 7 regions with about 48 teams. And then, congrats. And then they'll get 4A awards. And I think Riley did win first team 4A too, but they don't unfortunately give us anything, so. Sorry. Kinsey. And if you look at the results from some of the conferences, congratulations. It's crazy to see certain teams and how they rate, but again, once again, we're just in Prescott. So, and Alana Gilray, first team. So the fourth person to win the first team honors was Violet Williams, but she also won the Grand Canyon Player of the Year. So come on, Violet. And again, I don't care anymore about not telling you how things work, but even that one came down to a final vote, which I thought was wild because no other player scored against every team and did what she did. And again, it's just crazy, but I'm glad we were able to get a few recognitions for you guys. All right, cool. So now the team awards. I have to look to see which one this is. So we give Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Player of the Year, and then a Badger Blue Award, which Mackenzie Van Wormer, I don't like giving awards, because how do you give a team of like that an award when I don't coach for one player to do something. If someone gets the ball, there should be 4 people open and available, and everyone moves based on. If you watch the midfield rotate, it must be tough to play against you because no one's in the same spot at all times because we just a very dynamic team. So it's hard to pick out one person. So the Badge of Blue, Mackenzie said, why don't you pick one? You can give it out, and it's just the player who represents what it means to be on the girls program. So that's the 4th award. So the Offensive Player of the Year, obviously, is Violet Williams. Anyone want to pick it? So Defensive Player of the Year, I did this 5 years ago because it was too frustrating not to. But how do you choose against the best goalkeeper in the region, or basically probably one of the top goalkeepers in all of 4A? How do you choose against top 4 or 5? And how do you choose against, who do I choose? So do you guys want to help me? Because I can just etch the name in. No, I want all of you to come up here. Claire, Mallory, everyone who's a defender, come up here. Riley, Zoe, sorry, it's been a while since I've seen you. Katie, Lexi. There we go. So I think this makes sense when I explain it this way. Every time we talk about defending in our sessions, no one defends alone. We defend as a 5. They probably heard me say that 1,000 times and they're probably sick of it. But and they proved it last year and this year. It's the same group. So same group that's dominated the Grand Canyon for 2 straight years, which is impressive. So again, if you're a JV player looking for a job, except for Mallory, there's openings everywhere. So can I get a picture with and Claire? You better. Stand in the middle.
Sorry, I just want a picture with the best defense. Someone got a grab it.
So again, who's the player of the year for our team?
All of you come up.
No, there's only 2 up here. I had to cut it down because we only have a slight budget. So, and I want the awards to, I hope no one's recording this. I went to my son's boys soccer banquet. I know you are. And there's all these awards that look like this. And I'm like, they're gonna throw it. I remember my kids found mine one year and they were dragging around the garage and my mom's like, what are they doing? I'm like, they're just plastic, who cares? So I want to give them something they could take to college, maybe use a paperweight, maybe use a college, maybe they're having a bad day and they go, oh, okay, I can do this the other day. So but long story short, I get on tangents, I apologize. So the player of the year, I chose 2 people, so you guys can come up together. Alana Gilray and Kinsey Blanchard.
We're almost there.
So the final award is that Badger Blue Award. Usually if you win it, you only win it once, and then if you're an underclassman, you'll help me decide. You'll actually get a vote on who receives it the next year. It's been a whole variety of different type of players, a way to reward players that I think do a lot but maybe don't get the recognition or the playing time, but are a huge part of the team, a huge part of our success, and just very important to me as a coach. I think this group, I've done my C and my B license, and they've had to put up with a lot of my nerves and my emotions, and well, I've improved in a lot of ways. Some of those training sessions aren't fun when I set up a camera and say, hey guys, get it together, I need this next hour and a half to film and then present. So I chose Riley Schroeder. She told me this year, after having to jump into that team her freshman year, she almost quit, which I said, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, there's a huge line to get to you behind juniors and seniors. And so just a special player, like cares about every single one of you out here. Talk to me about the JV team, their needs. Just a really good human, a good person, and I think represents what I wish I was when I played, because I was an awful high school kid, just as a person. But going back, I would try to model myself after someone who cares as much about her success as her teammate's success, cares about my success, which was odd, and just has great support. And I know you'll be an amazing, and whether you play 2 or 4 years, and you'll have hopefully you won't be a ambulance lawyer. You'll be something honorable, but I'm so proud of you. Like I said, when you guys went to the finals, I don't know how many past players text me for the first time in a year, first time in 2 years, saying how happy they were because they remember they were doing it or they missed it by a year or whatever. So, just one of those players that I hope to hear about. I know Michelle won't let me not hear about it. But I can't wait to watch you play next year when you come up to Embry-Riddle and everything. So congratulations. So can I have all the captains come up? Okay. So Riley, you've been captain for 3 years? 2? And Lainey? 3? You're the special one. Katie, and then Kenzie. So I didn't know just what it meant to be a captain. In high school, they never chose captains, which I thought was weird, but. And so, when I choose a captain, I always get feedback from people unwarranted or when I don't ask for it. And it's always odd, their interpretation of what a captain means to me. We have our meeting, I have my long sheet of paper that they read, they sign off and agree to it. A lot of it's dealing with me, a lot of it is, Lainey, I'm not getting what I want from someone else. I'm going to say a few things out loud to you in training today, and if it doesn't apply, just go with it. And so they have to put up with a lot of me, and then there's a lot of dealing with them and each other. So, but 4 very, very capable, 4 very, very intelligent, and just great athletes. And it's sad that you're all leaving. But I asked them this year if they could choose 2 people, and then they can hand a captain's armband to, I don't know how you want to do it, to 2 people. So leaving it out of my hands, hopefully they choose wisely and correctly. I'd hate to have to send them text about how they were way out of line, but I trust them. They know they've been in this for 4 years, and they know what expectations are. So I'm going to turn this over to them, and they're going to invite up a couple of you sitting out here to be captains next year.
Okay, the first person we picked is Margaret.maneely. Okay, well, for me, I've grown up with Mags for a long time. When my family moved to Prescott, she was one of the first friends that I made, so I've known her for a while. And we've played soccer together since we were probably 9, 10 years old. And I don't know, I think I picked her because of her work ethic, and it's been so cool to see her, here you go, work like so hard and grow over the years. So, congrats.
Maggie is just one of those players that you think, wow, she's great. Like, we seriously could not have won these games without her. And whether she was captain or not, like, she always takes charge on the field. Like, she is great at defending. Like, I know the defense was helped out so much by Maggie. And then she's one of those players that can move up the field and score even if she's not given a lot of opportunities. So, yeah, we just think Maggie deserves it because she's awesome. So.
Okay, the next person we want to invite up is Addie Larson. So, I have personally had Addie as my center back for like 4 or 5 years now. And when she first came in, I was like, who is this new girl? Like, what's gonna happen? But she ended up being like my partner in crime back there. Like we were having such a great season. Like, and I'm super excited to like pass down and like coming back to see what I'm doing with college, like what she's made of the defense, and like I'm super excited about her leadership. I know like even though she wasn't a captain like last year and getting hurt this year, I think she's still gonna have that leadership quality, and I'm so excited to see it. So congrats.
Yeah, Addie was always a really hard worker, and like not having her this year, there was definitely a change. But we're so happy that she hopefully gets to come back next year.
That's the end of our program. We do have desserts back in the back, and we will need help cleaning up. So if you all can stick around, thanks for joining us this evening. Have a good evening.